ナモアミダ仏。ナモアミダ仏。ナモアミダ仏。ナマンダ仏。ナマンダ仏。
Please join in the chanting of the Gatha Shoshinge on page 39 to 44. The chant we will have a or inspiring student results.
十如来ナモ深い義行法蔵菩薩院二次在世自在小仏所刀剣小仏浄土医国土人前自然幕根流無常修正願長発慶部大具勢五行四唯四正十世妙正不法無量無変更無下無対抗への少女歓喜知恵不安難事無証拠超日がご生人説一切群上無故障願名ご症心にがいねは一心度法主世唯一罪は悪事かおらずごひねん運命安楽法如ゆみで信仰の称号いの水波無とはどんない心臓しわま上不真実信心天非常に幸福ワンマワンマしえみょむは逆真剣兄弟狂気 即を超絶語学習一切全幕本部に満身女税が仏言古代証言者全人名踏んだりけみだ仏本願念部邪見教満なく修上信行人に南中し南昔なまんだなだぶなまんだぶなまんだぶなまんだぶなまんだぶあにしどく浄土せ一切道本お大師お嬢
Okay, at this time, I'd like to call on Darlene Bagshaw, who will introduce our guest speaker today.
So how many of you have a relative in Palo Alto? Got 1, 2, 3. Nice, so be careful. How many of you have visited Palo Alto Buddhist Temple? I think we need to make a field trip to students. Well, we're very honored today to have Kathy Kwok. She's been a longtime member of Palo Alto Buddhist Temple, and she has family roots at the Buddhist Church of Stockton. She and Eric, her husband Eric, is here today too, have 2 grown children, 3 grandchildren, love to travel, experience different foods, cultures, and people. And about 20 years ago, she was diagnosed with a rare genetic disorder, which has caused her to lose her vision. So what I was impressed so much about with Kathy is, despite having a physical challenge, she is the most positive person I think I know. And this too will make you feel like you've known them all your life, just one conversation. So be sure that when we travel over to the reception room afterwards, that you do take time to get to know them. They're great people. So without further ado, Kathy.
Okay. Can everyone hear me? Well, good morning, and thank you so much for having here today. I honestly don't feel like I'm qualified. I'm not a professional speaker. I don't really speak publicly very well, but one thing I do, I speak with heart. So in honor of Donna Day, since I think of Donna as selfless giving from the heart, well, then maybe I'm the good speaker for today, because I tend to speak from the heart. Sometimes that means it can get a little bit emotional, so I'll just warn you ahead of time. I hope to keep it light, but sometimes you just never know. So once again, my name is Kathy Kwok, longtime member of the Palo Alto Buddhist Temple, and I think I found out just this morning from Ruby, she has relatives in Palo Alto we know very well. And since I've been there basically all of my life, I know a lot of people from Palo Alto. And let me just say ahead of time, you are all invited. We would love to have you come down. And, you know, there's lots of great places to eat, so we can have lunch afterwards. So definitely come down if you ever have a chance. So I feel like I have a unique perspective on things. As Arlene mentioned, about 20 years ago, I was diagnosed with a rare retinal disease. And it's definitely, obviously, changed not only my life, but the life of everyone around me. And that changes your perspective on things. I think we are very lucky that we can, well, one, we're retired, so that's a good thing. And we've been able to travel, just meet so many wonderful people. So I just feel truly lucky and grateful that we are at this point. So a couple of things. In order to remember, because I don't have any notes, even if I did, I wouldn't be able to read them. So I have to memorize, right? I've got to think about, excuse me. I see, there you go. I didn't see it. I've got to remember what I'm going to talk about. So my code for today is bio 2 mindful moments. Seems easy, right? So as a quick bio, I think we've already talked a little bit, but besides having the 2 kids and now 3 grandchildren, which is just so precious, I worked for a company called Hewlett Packard for 30 years. And I was really lucky to be at a company like that because they were very flexible and obviously made lifelong friends. It was a really great company and a great atmosphere. So, and as it turns out, as I'll tell you in just a bit, it was just a lucky circumstance that I got to work at a company like that. And so let me just launch into first little experience. And I have here, funny, this is actually my visual aid, which is a little bit funny because, especially since I can't see it, I can feel it, obviously, if you can all see. This is my white cane. And honestly, when I was first diagnosed, I kind of didn't believe that I would lose my vision, right? Because at first, there were some signs, like I couldn't see in the dark, and it was obviously very alarming. But after that, it was just kind of a progressive loss of vision. Started with my peripheral vision and then moved to my central vision. And so one of the things that I wanted to share is that blindness it's kind of like a spectrum. So there are different types of blindness, and people have different degrees, that's what I want to say, of blindness. So as an example, I started out with, I thought, pretty decent vision, and 45 was when I was diagnosed. But it wasn't until 7 years after that that I basically stopped driving. And I stopped driving because it was just too dangerous. And that was actually my first real, sign of distress, maybe, right? Once you aren't able to drive, you lose your freedom, your flexibility, right? You have to plan ahead. So, right, if I go grocery shopping, I've got to make sure I've got enough eggs, milk, everything to last me till the next time I go grocery shopping. And lucky for me, right, I've got a great partner. And, we have our system now of grocery shopping. And the good thing is now, I think we've got just a good pace and a good way to go about things. Because there were times when I'd say, okay, I need 3 bananas. And bananas would just go into the cart, but I didn't feel them. I wouldn't necessarily know that, okay, they might have had some brown spots on them at the beginning. Well, no, I like a little bit green so that they can ripen. It's little things like that you just kind of don't realize. But regarding my cane, so the first story that I want to share with you is, and it just happened last year. So I was walking, we were at up in Seattle, and a friend of ours who lives up there took us to, I guess they have many state fairs up in Washington. So we went to one of the state fairs, and we had been to one in a long time. And so we're walking along, and I have my cane with me, right, up in front, and we stop to look at an exhibit, and a little girl came up to me. And she must have been maybe, I'd say 4 or 5 years old. And even though I couldn't see her face or anything, I could tell she was little, and I could tell where she was. And she said, "What's that?" And I know she was pointing to my cane. And I said, "It's a white cane, and it's because I can't see." And she said, "Why do you have it?" And I said, "I have it so that it helps me when I walk, right? I can detect things because I can't see, so I can detect things with my cane, so it helps me." I said, "Also, it lets people know, like you, that I'm someone who can't see. And so therefore, maybe, you want to be careful if I'm walking towards you, or in some cases, help me out." And the mother was kind of back, and she said, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And I said, "No, I welcome any questions. I think that's great." And she said, "Thank you." And I just was like, that's perfectly fine. And what that taught me was, I think a lot of times people are afraid or intimidated. As I said, we travel a lot, and I've come to use my cane a lot, because the other thing I've certainly found out is it's like a magic wand. When you have a cane, depending on the circumstance, people will jump out of the way. They'll certainly come up and try to help me. And so I've just realized that it's become just such a good tool. And it's funny because I had this cane for over 2 years before I felt like I could use it. I think at first, I don't know, I didn't want to bring attention to myself, right? I mean, stick out like a sore thumb if you're walking around and you're the only one with a white cane. And I don't know if I was embarrassed necessarily. I certainly didn't want to look like, the disabled one or something. But what's interesting is I've certainly found out how valuable it is to me. Eric thinks it's very valuable because, he, as he guides me through, just say, put your cane out. He'll remind me, because if we're coming up in a big group of people, oncoming, he goes, it's kind of like splitting the sea. People will just, and I can tell sometimes, they'll pull their kid aside, right? Because walking through, I can't see them, and they certainly don't want to get hit by the cane. So anyways, that's just experience that has taught me a lot. So the second quick story that I wanted to share with you involves my 3-year-old grandson. And the sad thing is, so he's my oldest grandson. And he was born at a time when I just had lost a significant portion of my vision, to the point where I've never seen his face. I've never seen any of my grandchildren's faces. So that's really sad. But, so he hasn't known anything else but grandma who can't see. And from an early age, he would bring books to me because his parents, being great parents, love to read to him. He loves books. And so he would bring a book out and expect me to read it to him. And I would say, I'm sorry. And typically someone else picks up a book and says, Ben, let me read it to you, right? And it was, in fact, I think it was a couple of visits ago, and we were celebrating his 3rd birthday. And he brought Eric and I to his room. We were special. He closed the door so no one else could come in. It was so cute. But he brings a book to me and expects me to read it. Eric grabbed it, the book, and he said, why don't you sit on Grandma's lap and I'll read it to you. And then so Eric read it, and we're all just talking about the pictures and how many snakes are on the page or how many ladybugs there are, what color they are. And it made me think of a book, actually, that I started to write, but I haven't gotten very far. And that inspired me because I thought about grandchildren and they will never know me in any other way. And so I thought, Grandma, why can't you read? And, I want to say, I can't read because I can't see, but I can do so many other things, right? I can tell you a story. I can talk about everything that's on the page. We can talk about, anything you want to talk about, right? And I can only imagine as time goes on, right? Grandma, why can't you ride a bike? Grandma, why can't you drive? Grandma, why can't you play cards with me? Right? I'd love to do any and all of that stuff. But I also want them to know that I might not be able to do those things. There's so many other things that I can't do. So what was cute was just at our last visit, which was less than a month ago, or no, it was about a month ago, we went to go visit our new granddaughter. So Benny was there, and I wanted to make sure that he got enough attention, right? Because a new baby, right, gets a ton of attention. And so we went back to his room, just him and me. And the first thing he did was close the door. Okay. And then, I was a little bit scared because I knew he was going to reach for a book. And so this was the interesting thing. Went to the bookcase, and I could almost hear the gears working in his brain. And he touched a book, and then he was like, you know what, Grandma? I want to do something with you. He grabbed a basket of his insects insects. Yay me. My favorite thing, plastic and rubber insects. He has a ton of them. And we sat there for at least 20 minutes. And he would take out a spider and he would say, put out your hand, Grandma. And he would describe it to me. He said what color it was, how many legs it had, butterfly, he would describe what colors it was. He would say, how many wings a firefly has, and it's because it can fly really fast. Okay, he's brilliant. We all know that. He's just a brilliant kid. But he also has a level of compassion that a 3-year-old has. And so I just feel like if a 3-year-old can learn something like that at such a young age, there should be just so much opportunity for everyone. So, I told you I was going to get emotional. Didn't mean to do that, sorry. Okay. Those were my 2 quick little shared experiences I wanted to share with you. Now I want to introduce a very exciting new Gotha. And so about 4 years ago, which I can't believe, almost exactly, because I think it was March, 4 years ago, the BCA had the music committee launched a Gotha lyric contest. Heard about it, just at the end of a service during the announcements. Okay, you might think that announcements are boring. But I actually was listening. And I thought, Gotha lyrics. Now, one of the things that I've discovered, during this time of my vision loss, I've become very introspective, meaning I think a lot. Well, what else can I do? I think a lot about things. And I always loved poetry. I've written kind of a lot of poems about anything, everything. Lunch with my cousins, and we laughed, and we had some great times. Well, guess what? I wrote a poem about it, and I sent it to them. But anyways, so I thought, Gotha lyrics, I can do that. So anyways, so I wrote a poem, and I sent it in. I tried to adhere to all the directions, because anytime you do anything like that, you just have to, read the directions so you can do it correctly. And this was for the BCA 125th anniversary. And the interesting thing is, I think now, maybe it's past, sorry, it was one for children. So just know, if you have any cool ideas or can write a poem, there's a possibility it could be turned into Gotha. So anyways, what happened was, I turned it in. Well, I didn't win, but I was contacted a few months later by the music subcommittee, and they said, we really liked your lyrics, and even though you didn't win, we want to kind of push it through the process so that it becomes a Gotha. And I was like, wow. I was like, that's cool. And so they asked for some ideas on, maybe some of the music, what I want for it. And said, I really want, if possible, a Hawaiian theme. And I'll tell you why in just a moment. And lucky for me, there's someone named B.J. Soriano who resides in Hilo, Hawaii. And she, oh my gosh, she is so amazing. She was sent my lyrics, and supposedly, according to her, she took her ukulele, she kind of read through my lyrics, and she just composed it, and she brought it to life. So, I was able to hear the first drafts and everything, And it was just amazing. And so let me tell you why, just really quickly, the Hawaiian theme is all about. And what inspired me to write Mindful Moments. In 2015, we actually took our kids for the first time to Hawaii. And this was a big deal because they were old enough where they each had a boyfriend and a girlfriend. And so, right, that's kind of a big deal to take everyone to Hawaii. And it was their first time as well. And so, we get there, we check in, and, everyone changes because, right, you've got to go down to the beach. So we go walk, a couple blocks, we get to the beach, and everyone's just getting ready, right? Putting our towels down and putting sunscreen on. And I just thought, okay, this is a moment. So I told everyone, I said, okay, everyone, before you head out, I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to focus on what you can hear, what you can smell. I said, feel the warm sun against your skin. And just really think about how lucky we are to be here at this time together. There was so many things that had to happen because they were all working. So they had to get time off. I think one was on spring break because he's a teacher. And there was just so much that had to happen for us to all be there. And afterwards, I just really thought, to me, that's what it's like to be mindful, to really focus on what's around you, what's happening at that minute. And it brings about awareness, right? It allows you to focus on maybe instead of the distractions that might be around you, if you can focus on something. And this is the other part of it. And if you're intentional, maybe you can be grateful about why you're there and what's happening around you. And so, to me, that's what being mindful is all about. And it brings about gratitude and gratefulness. And so anyways, so that's what Mindful Moments is about. You might be able to hear, it's got a little bit of a Hawaiian theme, which I love. And I just want to bring your attention to, in the last line of the chorus is the part that repeats. It says, anytime, any day, anywhere. And the reason I feel that that's important is because I feel you can be mindful at any time. You can be happy or you can be sad. It could be any day of the week. And it could be daytime or nighttime. You can be on vacation. You could be in the car in traffic, right? You can have a mindful moment because you might be frustrated that cars aren't moving. But guess what? Do you know how lucky you are to be able to drive? I would give a lot to be able to drive again. And I would sit in traffic gladly. So, right? Sometimes you just need to be thankful. And sometimes, right, just even to have a car for that matter. How many people don't even have a car? And, people have to take buses. And so there's lots of different things that you can be grateful for. And anyways, I hope you enjoy Gatha. And I really hope and wish for you to have mindful moments in your future. So thank you very much. Go this way. Ready to play? Go ahead and play. I'm sorry. We will now have, if you please stand if you are able to, and we'll now have the pledge, the recitation of our pledge on the back cover of the service book.
Pledge. Waking out of my shell, I will share a warm smile and speak gentle words, just like the kind Buddha, not becoming lost in my greed, anger, and ignorance. I shall think and act with an open mind, just like calm and peaceful Buddha. Not putting myself first, I will share in the joy and sadness of others, just like the compassionate Buddha. Realizing the gift of life I have received, I shall strive to live each day to its fullest. Like the Buddha, tirelessly work to liberate all. Namah Butsu.
Namami.
Namah Butsu. Namah Butsu. Namah Butsu.
We'll have make the announcements.
Okay, so there is another lyric contest, but this is only for the youth. Sorry, adults. But this is for the youth. Deadline for entries is May 1st. So remember, do you remember when you made Gatha? It's a little rough. Try to refine it. But we do have one Stockton Dharma School entry. But if you would like to put your own entry, been inspired by Kathy, please do so. We are actually have the adult honorable mention from our, that's Carrie Wong. Her Gatha is about Obon, and her Gatha is being composed by D.I. Lewis, right? Isn't that his last name? D.I. Lewis, who's in Berkeley. He's working on it, so understanding he has different versions right now. One of them is reggae. That will be interesting. Because, I'm sorry, Obon is Festival Day. If you don't sing it peppy, it sounds so sad. And then I'm like Kathy too. Got the lyrics, didn't make it either. but I invite all of you to go on the BCA's Music Committee YouTube channel, where you'll find Gatha was sitting on the kitchen table of Ken Nakabayashi, the BCA music chairperson, and her husband decided he was going to write it, so he turned right into a Gatha. Well, and then Carrie will be coming up. And the youth ones can be inspired. There are 2 youth lyrics on there, Slam and Seattle Dharma School. So please check it out. They're all very inspiring Gathas. They're heartfelt, just like this was today. So thank you very much, Kathy, for sharing today. So for George, Temple's application is available in the office, and don't miss the deadline. I think it's May 8th. May 8th, noon. Not noon. Okay. And then also, if any of you have college-age students, be sure that they all apply for their scholarships. Panda Express. Everyone's going to have a Panda party on March 27th. The flyer is in the foyer. It is in our Karma. We want you all to go out and buy more Panda than you can in one day, and to support our efforts to raise funds for the temple. The Federation of Dharma School Teachers League Conference will be in Fresno on April 18th. It's called Making Dharma Come Alive. Keynote speakers are Bishop Marvin Harada and Yasu Ishii. He is a storyteller that will be traveling in from Cleveland, Ohio, to help teachers become more creative in their traveling. It is not only open to teachers, it is also open to student families. Deadline is quickly approaching to register, so if you go to the BCA website, look under Dharma School, there is a link to our resources, and the registration link is in there as well. We are requesting donations of your vintage Japanese treasures. We will be having our Japanese Treasures Boutique on May 2nd from 9 to 2? 10 to 2. So don't miss out. And that will also help our operating budget. Plastic bottles and cans are being collected by the YBA. You can always leave recyclables, keep them out of those landfills, and by the white ones that are under the carport. And we have a special announcement because we're not going to class today. In fact, all of you are invited to come to our one-room class. We'll be in the gym. If you go through the gym, there's a reception room in the gym. And Kathy, did you say something about what they're doing? Okay. Oh, it's a surprise. So it will be good. It will be good, and it'll be kind of continuing on what she was talking about today. So, Ruby, do you want to close? Thank you.
A couple more quick announcements. There's tonight, this Friday the 27th, right here. And some of the students are on spring break, so join us. Let us know. There's a in the foyer from 6 p.m. And also, they wanted me to announce that on May 9th, be a special seminar by Reverend Al Kodama, and the flyer, it will be in the Carmel Hall. So please be sure to register for that. Is there anything else? Oh, and she has one more announcement.
So, I'm really excited about this. We're going to have a discussion group that's called Buddhist Concepts in Anime. And so it's going to be through Zoom, and the link is going to be available to anyone. So anyone that's interested in watching anime with us, having a little casual chat, you don't even have to know anything about anime or Buddhism, because we're all going to learn together. We're going to watch an episode together and discuss it. And so our first session is going to be on, put it in here, I believe it's April 17th, but it's Thursday. It's going to be the third Thursday of every month. The flyer with the phone number for the temple, so you can RSVP. We're going to send you information ahead of time, and then we're going to send you the Zoom link for you to join. So if you know anyone that's interested, let us know. You can call the temple front office and also get your name and information. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mimi. So this concludes our school service. service. SBWA Dawn service will follow at 11:30. So please meet in the reception room right now. As you show code, please you could observe good etiquette and do not enter the aisle before that row. The row in front of you, those students who are incense before the service are asked to do so before leaving the window. Thank you for coming today. So yeah. So in the go in the gym door and turn right. Okay.